Pugh. That'll do it! That will do it! Pugh for Bournemouth! The roof of the gold sands is raised! Everyone here knows what that could mean to this football club.
I'm not saying that's cheesy, but is that a bit good morning TV, Tigz? I'm not too sure.
You know what, mate? I love the fact that it was all this continental breakfast, and the last shot.
I wondered who would notice that last night. I was putting that together, and I thought, oh, perhaps I should be having some pictures of someone cooking a fry up and then finish on the final shot. But you noticed continental breakfast turned into full English, but we got everything covered, right?
It's all about, what we offer here at Back of the Net. Yeah. Looks like this. What you actually get is this.
Basically, yeah. So anyway, welcome to Matchday breakfast here on Back of the Net. It is a triple header this week, as you can see. My name is Sam Davis.
I'm Mr. Tigz.
And I'm Morgan Scott.
And after two consecutive games against Bristol City and Stoke City with 2 wins, AFC Bournemouth are up against Huddersfield today at Dean Court. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff. And you know what? It could be a match that we should win. It should be a match that we should win. Look, they're 6th in the playoffs at the moment in the playoff position. However, they're a tough proposition. And Tigz, how's your overall vibe? I mean, confident, I'm sure. However, for me, I'm a little bit tentative as well.
I think we're always going to be, because we haven't hit any bumps in the road yet. It's been going so well, but we've got to at some point. And Parker sort of talked about that in his press conference this week as well. How at some point it might not go particularly well, but Morgan will tell us more about that later on, I'm sure. But I think I'm feeling confident, Sam. I think I'm feeling positive. I woke up this morning. I've had a shower. My hair's all fluffy. I've come in this room. None of the lights work, so I'm sort of lit from different angles. So my day's not started amazingly, but I still think that we've got enough.
Hopefully we got enough. We had enough on Tuesday, didn't we, Morgan? Resilient performance against the Potters at Stoke City, wasn't it?
I think in the first half it was, compared to what we saw at Bristol, like the passing was a little bit off sometimes and not picking up the second ball straight away. But I thought in the second half we grinded out the result very well, and we got over the line, and we said in one of the other shows that we would take 4 points from the last 6, and we got 6. So that's excellent, really. And going forward into today's game, although you never know when you're going to slip up, I think we've got to be high confidence and momentum right now.
Hope you like our new graphics, people. There's sausages, there's croissants. We might even add an OJ at some point during the show. Thanks to everyone that's tuning in live. We've got Kane Graydon here, who's saying, morning, he was at Thorpe Park yesterday, got back at 10:30 and about 12 o'clock, he said. He left at 10:30. He's knackered, but he's still going to the game. You absolute trooper. Well, hopefully today's not a roller coaster, Kane. Chris Hubble's here. Morning, Sam. Hello. Aaron K, looking forward to seeing you. I owe you some money, by the way. Don't let me forget that. Also, we've got John Spark. Who else have we got? We've got RWC as well. Rob Wells. It's so early. Look, we'd usually do a 9:30, but listen up. It's Tom's birthday weekend. His birthday's actually tomorrow, yeah? But it's his birthday weekend. So if you see him, buy him a drink. He only drinks J2O or Caliber, non-alcoholic, I'm absolutely certain. But if you see Tom, and look, Tigz, he's entering Club 30. Can you remember what that was like?
Sort of. I mean, it's kind of weird. I've just left Club 30, and he's coming. Typical Tom, isn't it? Turning
one in, one out, mate.
Yeah, one in, one out. Let's hope it's got 1 in, 1 out today. When we go, anyway, we'll get to that.
Yeah, and Morgan, you're still a whippersnapper at 23. You're doing all right, aren't you? Elsewhere, who else we got on chat? We've got Marky Masters. Come on later, Mark. I'm sure we'll need some energy and some pizzazz. Not that Tigz and Morgan can't provide us with it.
I need a bit more energy now. I just turned 23, Sam. That a little bit older, a little bit more tired. But yeah, I'm sure Marky can deliver some excellent quality. I put a tweet on Twitter saying that we love his energy here on Back of the Net.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, we do. Tommy Haviden's Poodle, good morning. One pouch of unbelief. Morning, hope you're doing all right. Neil Whedon, can't get to Dean Court today. Sorry to hear that, Neil, but you know what? Like you, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. We've got Kieran Franks as well, Martin, and also Carmen as well. Hi, Carmen. Appreciate your voice message that you left to Back of the Net. So I think it's only fair we get started, and get started we will with news of Parker's presser. Let's do it. And Morgan Scott, it was yesterday, wasn't it? What was the gist of what Parker was saying yesterday, mate?
So he started the press conference by saying it was he got asked that it was Brooksy's first game back at Dean Court since obviously in the news with his recent diagnosis, and there's a clap. I'm not sure what minute that's in, Sam, but apparently there's a minute applause at some point during the game today. And then he also went on to talk about Lewis Cook. He's after his recent injury, he now completed 90 minutes. Parker alluded to the fact that he was saying that Lewis got asked after about 75 minutes if he felt okay. He put up his thumbs to the bench and said he wanted to play the 90 minutes. He was never coming off. And Parker then went on to say there's another under-21 game coming up next week, and after that he might be into contention to be fit for 13 games. So that's excellent news for someone like Lewis Cook. He's been out for some time. Second time he's had this injury. It's horrific psychologically, and mentally and physically, and he's come through it again. So fair play to the lad at such a young age.
Yeah, I mean, Tigz, it's going to be fantastic for when Lewis Cook's back. I mean, you know, we're having a boost when players like Junior Stanislas are coming back, and he's got to work his way into the side. But when Lewis Cook comes back as well, I mean, that competition for that kind of Ben Pearson, Gav Kilkenny spot. Yeah, it's going to be huge, but it's going to be a massive boost for the side, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You know, he's a quality player. It's really interesting because I feel that obviously Lewis wasn't fit when Scott Parker came in, but it's almost as though this formation is perfectly made for him. And Gavin Kilkenny's been doing that job sublimely, as has Ben Pearson. So, yeah, we definitely, you know, having that quality player come back, it'd be really interested to see what it does, who it pushes on, who it pushes out. Yeah, I'm excited. Definitely.
Morgan, have you any idea what's happening with Adam Smith then? Because I saw a story appear on the website during the week about the status of his injury.
Yeah, he's off to. It was a knock in training the club release, and then he gone to see a specialist. I believe it's only for the next 2 weeks roughly, and then he should be back in contention with. Parker said, but obviously we'll just have to wait and see on that one. It could be sooner, but he said a minimum of 2 weeks. So hopefully we wish Adam Smith all the best, and hopefully he's back on that pitch. But I'm sure we'll talk about it when we pick the chosen 11. But Stacey in recent games has been much better. So we're very lucky that we got two players in every position, which I think are full quality, regardless of who we got available.
Yeah, I'm seeing three legends on screen at the moment. I don't know, like sometimes Tigz, like, don't you feel it just makes sense to have an even number of legends?
Oh yes, please. Yeah. So
let's get rid of Morgan. No, of course not. We're going to bring in James Reed. James, hello, buddy. How are you? You okay? Mate, your hair is looking sharp today.
Yeah. You've
combed it just nicely. I can only dream of having hair like that, mate. I wish I could. Like Tigz and Morgan are just laughing at me here. And so are you, which I like to see. How are you feeling? You all right?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Are Bournemouth going to win today, James?
Yeah.
Excellent. So we're going to maintain our spot at the top of the league. Have you got a scoreline prediction for us, mate? Here he goes. Type it in chat. He's gone for a 2-1 to AFC Bournemouth.
Yeah.
2-1 to AFC Bournemouth. Get in. That's what we like to see, Tigz, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I'm just writing that down. Literally.
I haven't actually done my my Super Six. I don't know if Bournemouth are on it this week, are they? But if they are, James, for you, I'm going to put that scoreline prediction in. We're going to do some predictions later on in the show. Oh, breaking news! James Reed is going to Reading versus Bournemouth. You're going?
Yeah.
You're going to the Medeski Stadium?
Yeah.
Oh, mate, that's superb. Hopefully we can meet up with you there, mate. What we'll do is we'll communicate offline with you, see where you're sat, and we'll try to find you and come say hello. You and about 2,300 other cherries, mate. It's going to be brilliant, isn't it? Other cherries. Top man, thank you for coming on. What a star. What a star. Also, waking up early this morning. I don't know how you do it, Daniel, sometimes. I don't know how you do it, but you do it for Back of the Net. It's Daniel from Florida. How are you?
Hello.
You doing all right?
Yeah.
Good. Mate, you wake up so early in the morning. Honestly, thank you so much. Was it an early night last night?
Yeah.
Good. Tigz, I know you've got to ask Daniel some questions, haven't you?
Have I? Sorry, Sam. I'm so bad at this sometimes. Daniel, what time is it there now?
4:11.
4:11. Wow, 4:11. And what do you think we're going to be getting today in terms of a scoreline? Obviously not 4:11. That would be amazing. But what do you think? What do you think might be happening?
I feel like 2-1 Bournemouth. I feel like we could win this, but Huddersfield are a good side. But I feel like we will still win it.
Okay, that's good. That's good. And obviously you've been keeping up with things. I haven't spoken to you in quite a while. How have you been feeling about how the team been playing recently?
I think so far, because I remember like last season we were unbeaten, but this season we started way better than last season. So I'm really enjoying watching. So I'm actually like really excited for today's game.
Yeah, I'm really excited as well. Really excited. And when we do carry on this fantastic form and get back to the Premier League, we're thinking, Daniel, maybe you could be running the American version. We syndicate Back of the Net into something else. You could run that over there for us. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
It'd be brilliant at that. So, yeah, Daniel, thank you so much for coming on. Out of the teams that we've got coming up, Aaron just said, you may have seen it on screen, potential banana skin today. Have you got that feeling too against Huddersfield, or do you think we'll just blow them out of the water? Because it seems to me, Daniel, that we're finding ways to win. I thought that Bristol City and Stoke were two very different types of wins. Bristol City, we dominated them, we annihilated them, we out-footballed them. 2-0 I mean, they would have been laughing with that result, really, given the fact that we should have probably beaten them 6 by 6 or 7. But Stoke, we ground it out, although they didn't create that many chances. They did create some that obviously caused us issues by hitting the post, albeit so did we with Dom Solanke with the crossbar, so maybe that cancelled it out. But we're finding ways to win. Will we today versus Huddersfield? And do you think they could be quite a threat?
I think we will win, but I feel like we could also like draw it, because that's what we always like seem to do sometimes. But I feel like we could win because of all the players we have, and we shouldn't really be losing this game. Not to be disrespectful to Huddersfield, but we shouldn't really be like losing this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Morgan, I was about to say goodbye to you, but you know what? I'll keep you on. Daniel, thanks very much for coming on, buddy.
Bye, guys.
Right, before we bring some energy to proceedings, I think you know what that means. Look, we've been in email dialogue with someone that's been sort of not sure about, being on the podcast and coming on. And like now she's sending videos. It's Terry Nichols from the States. She finally sent a video to us this week reacting after what she thought after the Bristol City and Stoke performances. So this is the debut of Terry Nichols. Terry, you need to come on more.
Hello from St. Louis. And I just want to say today was a fantastic game. I would like to have seen a little bit more controlled passing, but I am so happy. I'm glad we won, and automatics all the way. Go Bournemouth, up the cherries.
Love it. Terry, thanks for coming on. Automatics all the way. She's not wrong, is she, Morgan?
No, absolutely. Playoffs get on my nerves. So, yeah, we'll go with automatics this year.
Who needs the playoffs and who needs Marky Masters? I tell you what, we do. Marky, morning.
Hello, everybody. Morning, everyone, Morgan. Hello, Tigz. I like Tigz's build-up for Halloween there with his... what he's doing today.
I don't know. Spectral.
Oh, absolutely love it. How are you, Marky?
I'm really good, thank you. I'm good, everyone. Albeit today, everyone, I will not be at the game today. We're preparing for a 7th birthday, so I will be looking after kids' games while we're everyone's enjoying the afternoon and you're having a brilliant time at the football. I will be doing you pin the tails on the donkey. Why don't we use the chat for inspiration for the games that I should be doing this afternoon? The balloon one, that one's the balloon. You know, the balloon one's good. That one.
Which one's that?
No,
Yeah.
That one's like,
Back in my day, Marky, it was pin the tail on the donkey. It was musical statues, musical chairs. Tigzy, what else did we do?
Pass the parcel.
Oh, yeah, pass the parcel.
standard,
You have to prep
isn't
for
it?
that. You have to prep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you do have to prep. I mean, like, how many wraps is normal in pass the parcel? What, like 10?
As
11?
long as they're sweet. As long as they're sweet. I've got a torrid day, guys.
Yeah.
I've got a tip visit as well. I've had an awful day, which is why I'm looking forward to this and seeing you and everybody else online.
That made me laugh, but Marky, I only just realised you just said tip. I misheard you.
Did I? I was like, all right.
I'm going to the tip. Picking up this week. Did I see, Sam, you posted with the videos from this week? It was £3.33 a pint up in Stoke.
It was £3.33 on average. That's the average price. As with Beer Checker, I did some research at the start of the season. So yeah, it was £3.33 inside the stadium. It was a bit more. The Harvester where we went to was a bit more. So it's probably
Show off.
yeah, probably about 4. But you know what? Yeah, Harvester show off. Money bags, 25% off if you sign up to their mailing list as well. Loved a bit of that. But yeah, it was a bit more, I think.
I can't believe. By the way, what's the most expensive you've paid for down here?
Well, for a pint, oh my God, right? I think it was the Dancing Duck in Westbourne. Pint of Beavertown neck oil, or whatever it's called. Wow, like nearing £6 for a pint of that. That's not good.
£6.50 over in Christchurch. Can you
Where's
believe
that? Boathouse?
It's the morning. I know I should be getting all excited about my hash browns because the tip and everything else isn't gonna suffice. So whilst I've got my hash browns, everything else in the oven, we don't need to talk about booze. But I thought it kind of knocked me off kilter by seeing that from the videos this week.
Yeah. Wow. Wowzers. Trousers.
I'm just thinking. I remember. I don't want you to have like a Vietnam style flashback here, but I do remember last season us having one of these before, and you were having a child's party then. I'm sure you were.
Nay, right. Here we go. Right. So So that was the worst day of 2021 so far. Because that was the playoff. That was the second leg of the playoff at Brentford.
It was, yeah.
It was my daughter's my other daughter's 8th birthday. Oh my goodness! Like I run a creche here. It's like, please don't think I'm the world's most virile man. But birthday here, and it was the most depressing day I've had. Wife had to go at me because I had Sky on. Had to go at me for that, so I put on Radio Solent. Got told off. Had to go back to the games, and that was the lowest, and that was lower than the Euros when we lost in the final. So thank you for picking that up, and that's reminiscing. Talking of reminiscing as well. Before you move on to other people, you know when you always ask people what's the score going to be. When we're talking about age today, and Morgan, little pup here in the corner in his early 20s, and some of us pushing the average here that are watching at home and everything else in the chat. So when I was a little boy, along with yourself and Tigz, Sam, there used to be these. So as a child growing up in the 80s and going to Dean Court, we always used to have walking around the perimeter a man called Ken Bailey.
Yeah, Ken Bailey, yeah.
When I was a kid, I used to love Ken Bailey. I didn't know the feeling was mutual. But anyhow, he used to walk around and people used to say, what's the score going to be, Ken? And Ken would always be 2-1. And now 2-1. I would never say that now, but when you always say, what's the score going to be? It just makes me feel as a child again. 2-1.
That's amazing. Didn't he wear some kind of like all this regalia, didn't he, when he strolled around the pitch?
He was like this weird national mascot that would always be at rugby and like the 1966 World Cup, but he lived locally.
Yeah.
Bit of an odd sort. but he was like our mascot. We would, before the days of Cherry Bear, we would parade around in his Union Jack outfit.
Could you imagine if we did that now as a mascot?
Reminiscences for men in their 40s.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. So in a Ken Bailey style, what is the score going to be? Is that what you're going for? 2-1, Marky?
Well, no. Well, I'm very glad you asked, because what I did, Morgan, Tigz, Sam, what I did is I got my little time machine, and I went to, and I've seen it. Do you know what the score was?
Go on.
3-0, boys! It was 3-0! Get in!
Marky Masters, thanks very much, buddy. Have a good day.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
You too.
Thanks, mate.
See you later, sir. See you later. Oh, absolutely love that. That's what you need at this time of the morning. Tell you what, we had a video from Terry earlier. She's here with us now.
Oh, amazing.
Terry, nice to see you.
Hi, how are you? Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear. Thank you so much for sending that
great.
video. We just played it to everyone. How's it going?
Oh, did you? That's a little embarrassing, but
No,
it's
superb.
going good. It's going good.
So tell people about your relationship with AFC Bournemouth then. How did you get into starting to support the Cherries?
It's because my daughter can't drive a standard car, a stick shift.
Okay.
She can't drive one. And so I had to take her to work. And I was sitting in a bar and watching a soccer game, and Bournemouth came from behind, and AK was on the team. I remembered him from World Cup. Took me a little while to commit. I committed, bought my kit, and then we went downhill.
It's okay though. It's not your fault. But Tigz and Morgan, I mean, it's so good to see so many people from the States and all over the world supporting the Cherries. And I think a lot of credit actually has to go to that NBC download documentary that was shown over there that showed our rise throughout the divisions and then the first part of the Premier League. Because everyone loves a fairy tale, especially over there, eh?
Yeah, Cinderella's story.
Tigz.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, that cold underdog thing, isn't it? That's
what I always go for.
Yeah, why not? I've got an uncle who lives over in Florida. He sort of moves up and down. He works in the horse industry, and he saw it. And he immediately, when he saw that, when it first came out, he was on the phone to me. I want to know more. I want to come to a game. I want to buy the shirt. I want to do everything. We've got a lovely brand to buy into, and it attracts people to it. So yeah, it has got a long way, I think, to making us a very palatable option, certainly in America.
Yeah. All my friends at the soccer bar are like, we wouldn't mind Bournemouth to be back up in the Prems. I'm like, I wouldn't mind it either.
Yeah.
We've got a message on chat, Terry, from someone's called Tommy Heffernan's Poodle. Now, Tommy Heffernan was a player that played back in, the 70s, was it? For AFC Bournemouth. He was a marauder. Well, honestly, he was such a hard man as well. But Tommy Heffernan's Poodle, that's his nickname, said, Terry, you're a true fan. You commit and then it goes downhill. Same for most of us. So, yeah, you're a true cherry.
That's right.
Okay,
the Cherries.
The Cherries. Before you go, can we have a prediction from you for today's game against Huddersfield?
Oh, I was kind of fence sitting. I'm a little scared about teams that defend against us, and then we can't really manage to score. I'm really scared if another team goes up on us, and would we be able to come back? But I'll go 2-0.
2-0. Terry, thanks so much for making your debut. You are a Cherries legend. We'll keep in touch, and thank you for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me. And I love the podcast.
Love it. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Terry Nichols there, absolute Cherries legend. And if you want to just rewind, you'll be able to see exactly how Terry became a fan there, Southbourne there, 06. Right, Morgan, we're going to talk about Huddersfield next. You haven't spoke for a while, but I think you need to tell us a little bit more about our opposition and what kind of threat that they could maybe pose.
Yes.
Absolutely. Morgan, so it's going to be a tricky test today, isn't it?
Yeah, I reckon that they might we might go into the game with maybe how we probably went. So the difference between the Bristol City and the Stoke game explained itself. You could see from the performance. As I said, we got 6 points from 2 games, which are maximum points. You don't want to be too negative, but I think we need to be on it from minute 1, like we were against Bristol, pressing the ball, and also like, rather than just like sitting back, I would like us to finish our chances. I think today we should be scoring more goals. We should have won that Bristol game by 5 or 6 in the end. So it would be nice if we could get a bit more goal difference in game, because that could be a decider if we go up through automatics, or we have to go through the nitty-gritty playoffs again, which I'm hoping for the hell of me we don't. But yeah, hopefully. But Huddersfield have come in, and as you said, I think you said they're 6th in the playoff places. I don't think they have anything. They're not going to come here and be worried. I think they'll come and play their football, and I think if we're not on it, they might try and think that they can win, and what you've got to do in football. So yeah,
there'll be a team that is certainly wary of this guy, hey Morgan, because obviously played many a season for them, and he's come on leaps and bounds for AFC Bournemouth, hasn't he? He's been doing so well for us, and you know, the fact that he's adding lots of goals into his repertoire as well is, I mean, it's fantastic for AFC Bournemouth.
Yeah, he's a likeable guy, Phil Bill. Heavily criticised, but he's really keen to work hard. I remember that tidy little finish where he slid it a little dint ball over and he put it in the right hand corner and done a few games ago. But I think he come on leaps and bounds, and not only is he playing much better with Jordan Zamora and linking up with Jadon Anthony as well. He's just and he's scoring a lot of goals. Now, I wasn't thinking he was going to be up there scoring loads of goals this season, but I reckon he's going to go on and get so many more, because he's just got that confidence about him now, and it's really good to see. So yeah, looking forward to seeing Phil Bill keep progressing, and I'm sure he's going to reach better level as the season goes on.
Absolutely. Right, we're going to bring in some more people very shortly, because John is standing by. But what about a neutral view of this match? If you've not subscribed to Ben HD on YouTube, you should. Look, there are channels that you can, go to for EFL Championship information, such as League of 72. Of course, we know about Benjamin Bloom as well. Ben HD, he's another one that's been giving his thoughts inside a minute on today's game.
Next then we head to Bournemouth up against Huddersfield. Bournemouth will be looking to extend their lead at the top of the Championship, and fair play to them, because they've come through 2 quite potentially tricky away matches in their last 2 with 6 points. They got that win over Bristol City in quite comfortable fashion in the end, and they got through that game against Stoke with a 1-0 win. I don't think that ultimately sides will probably go to that Stoke team this season and leave with 3 points. So yeah, it's a real credit to Scott Parker and the work he's done at Bournemouth at the moment, the sort of flexibility that they've shown in those sort of matches. If you watched the last episode of the Championship Roundup, we highlighted Ryan Christie as a real star performer for them in recent weeks. I thought he looked quite good for them in midweek once again. But I mean, this will be an interesting game, because Huddersfield themselves have shown their threats and been a bit of an underdog in most of the matches they've gone into so far this season, particularly from set piece situations. Huddersfield have been good. They've scored more set pieces than any other side so far this season. However, I think the safe bet for this one probably does have to be on Bournemouth. With the way they're currently playing back at home now after a couple of tough away matches, I'm going to go for a 2-1 Bournemouth home victory.
A 2-1 Bournemouth home victory there. And it's interesting, Sam, that reminds me of what you were saying earlier about Bournemouth finding ways to win. And I was listening to Benjamin Bloom this week, and he does a little preview of all the games as well. Got your name right this week, Ben. And he pointed out that actually Bournemouth and Huddersfield are 2 teams whose, stat alert, here it comes, whose XG over the course of the season is actually lower than the goals they've scored. So that means Bournemouth are either really good at finishing, as are Huddersfield, or a bit lucky. And on saying that, we had to bring in the man who probably knows more about XG than anyone in the universe. John, what do you think of that stat?
Anyone in the Bournemouth universe, I think we'll leave it. We'll leave it at that. Yeah, I was actually looking at the XG compared to goals scored just before coming on, just to try and pick up anything that felt interesting. And yeah, you're absolutely right. There is about a 3 or 4 goal difference at the moment between our goals scored and our XG, which the thing is that our XG there was actually a bigger difference for us earlier in the season. Games like Hull and Peterborough have sort of started to slightly even that out. But even against Stoke, our XG was probably just over 1, and we scored 1. So yeah, those are the kinds of things that tend to average themselves over a season. And normally you'll find that teams score less than their XG. So the fact that both Huddersfield and Bournemouth are overperforming shows that they've actually got some very clinical finishers. But normally that can't maintain. But you do get outliers, and I would say players like Mitrovic are the kind of, and I would say probably Solanke and Billing are the kind of players that are just outperforming what we're expecting from them at the moment. So if that continues, we're doing very, very well. And also say to Matchday, I would also back up. He's a fantastic championship YouTuber. So I would highly follow him if you want some more content from a neutral who knows what he's talking about.
And Ben did talk a little bit there about Huddersfield's set pieces and the threat that they are from that. A lot of goals scored through that, he said. It's not something that we've had to face too much this season, but it is something that terrified me last season and previous seasons. In fact, for as long as I can remember being a Bournemouth fan, our ability to clear set pieces away. Is that still a problem?
Well, based off the first 13 games, probably not really. I mean, according to Opta, we've conceded from 2 set pieces all season. When you consider the amount of goals we would concede from corners over the years, and if you think the only goal that we have conceded away from home this season was from a free kick at Nottingham Forest, which we ended up going on to win anyway. So that one, we did the job on that one. And yeah, there's only a few teams in the league that have conceded only 1, and most of them are more around the sort of 3 and 4. So it's really improved our defensive record. I mean, we have the best defense in the league. So regardless of where the ball comes from, I'm feeling a lot more confident about our defensive record at the moment. But that does come from the likes of Cahill, Kelly. We've got Height and Billing, who's a good man to have at the front post. But that marshalling really makes a huge difference. If you know where you need to be and you're drilled into that position, then you're more likely to pick up your men. And our success in defence is showing that effort is being well rewarded.
One thing I find really interesting is whenever we get an attacking set piece or a defend or a defend to defend one, you'll see Scott Parker go and essentially move right back, almost sit down. And we've got a set piece coach now, haven't we? It's our goalkeeping coach. Is it Rob Birch? Is that the name?
I think possibly. It is. Yeah, that's right.
And he steps forward now, and you see him shouting and directing players around. So that is interesting, isn't it? I think that used to be Jason Tyndall's job for a while. So for him, the fact that he's taken over, I wonder how much influence he's had. It should be a really interesting game. There are 6th, Huddersfield. How do you feel it panning out, John?
Yeah, so the interesting thing about Huddersfield, I think, so far is their top scorers are on 3 goals. Is their forward and also one of their centre backs. If I had the name up before, but I've just lost it. But they're not really like heavy goal scorers. They do get the odd decent result, and they have. I think they put a couple to the sword so far this season. But they're not going to come and look to absolutely blow us away. And they are a team, certainly under their manager, Carlos Corberán. From last season, you could see that he wanted a passing style of play. He wants to get the ball down and play football the right way. But, he didn't really have the players he wanted last season. And the weird thing is that this season, I think there's quite a few players that don't necessarily massively fit the style of play, but he's managing to make things work. And I think 2 of the massive players that help with that is Levi Colwill at the back, who's on loan from Chelsea, I believe, who is massively rated by Chelsea. And fortunately enough, is actually suspended for 5 yellow cards in this game. So we won't actually have to worry about him at the back. He's a defender, but a very good ball-playing defender. And then on the right, right wing back, you've got who was recently called up to the Wales squad, and again, he's left.
This is where SofaScore lets you down, isn't it?
Yeah, this is where my brain lets me down. Have you got that up, Sam?
No, I haven't, because I don't know where you're going with this. Yeah,
it's the right wing back. Who's on? Hang on, I just have it on my phone. I think it's
okay.
Thomas.
Like if only we had that gallery.
It was
Throw
Sorba
that
Thomas.
kind of gallery music from Heartbeat, Tigz. But anyway, sorry, was it, sorry?
Sorba Thomas, who's you recently got called up to the Wales squad. He's got 7 assists for them, which is, with only 13 games gone, is actually quite ridiculous. He's their main creative force, and he's someone that we really need to keep a massive eye on. And that will be the work of a combination of Jaden Anthony and Jordan Zamora to keep an eye on today. And if we can nullify him, we can massively reduce the amount of support that the front men get, playing it around the midfield and through the midfield. So yeah, I think we have the players, we have the style that sort of like is a bit like what they're trying to go for, but better in terms of what we've shown so far this season and the kind of players that we've got. So I expect us to dominate the game, but I certainly think that there are threats that Huddersfield can supply, and we need to be very wary of those. But I'm still really confident on this one, more so than I was in the last 2 games. But then again, there's enough times when I'm confident of a win, we end up drawing, and the reverse normally happens. So I don't want to take too much stages on me.
Hopefully we will get the win. And you know what? It is like you read my mind, because as I go down and have a look through the show notes here, I do have a section on that very player that you alluded to, Sorba Thomas. And yeah, he is a threat. One of the other players to watch as well is Lewis O'Brien in midfield, one of those players that's full of energy and pace and likes to drive forward in midfield as well. John, thanks very much for coming on, buddy. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Excellent stuff. John Spark, contributor for Cherries Red Army there. So Carlos Corberán, it's his 2nd season in charge as the manager at Huddersfield. In his first season, his side finished in 20th place with 49 points. Last season, after 13 games, they were in 16th place with 15 points. So you're slowly getting better, and their league position this season maybe indicates that they're looking for a top 10 finish this season. They've made a few signings this season, some signed and others on loan. Their record away from home this season is 2 wins, 2 draws and 2 defeats. The wins were at Sheffield United, 2-1, and then a convincing one at Blackpool, which, to be fair, you know what? Every so often they pull off the odd shock. So that's not a bad result against Blackpool, not least after we drew 2-2 with them. Head-to-head, our last game with them at Dean Court was in December. We all know what happened there. Fans were back in the stadium and we smashed them 5-0. We were 3-0 up by half time. I think it was 2 goals from Dom Solanke, and then a few minutes, David Brooks. He was on the outside of the box and he just left-footed it into the corner. I seem to remember that. Junior Stanislas and Sam Surridge added the 4th and 5th. Our league record at home against Huddersfield Town, you're probably wondering, AFC Bournemouth have won 11, drawn 8 and lost 7. So those stats are good. Morgan, we've all talked about David Brooks on previous shows, and that 7th minute applause stroke sing song at Bristol City was very good. But also there's something happening today as well, isn't there?
Yeah, he's going to get a clap. Do you know the minute it's in?
Well, I gather the 7th minute again.
I assume so. They didn't say, but I assume the 7th minute. And Scott Parker, as I said earlier in the show, that it's going to be electric to have a full stadium with all the fans, and I'm sure it's going to be emotional. And we'll wish David Brooks, give him all the support he needs again. I know he started his treatment. I went to a fit on Thursday night. Francis had one of the questions was relevant about David Brooks, and Simon Francis went on to say that David Brooks starts his treatment on Friday, and apparently he has lost quite a lot of weight, obviously with the news and everything, and apparently he is struggling, as you would expect at the moment. But as we said in other shows, we're all behind Brooksy, and we all wish him all the best and a speedy road to recovery.
Yeah, absolutely. And I gather they're playing lots of on the big screen on the scoreboard. They're going to be putting out a load of your text messages via Twitter and social media that you've left for David as well. It's going to be really nice, really poignant, and probably a little bit emotional as well. Get well soon, David. Right then, I think we should move on because it's pubs and predictions, right? Come on. What is it? Predictions in chat. That's what they should do, Tigz, eh?
Yes, please. Get them in. Get them in early. Come on, just like the pints.
Get the points. And you know what? Also, it's worth noting today that they're slightly mixing it up in the North Stand. So if you are in the North Stand, the club's planning to trial the use of an external half-time concourse area. They're doing it for this game today. They're doing it for Preston and Swansea as well. People who went to Stoke will be wary, and other clubs sort of tend to do this: let people outside and pen them in. This will give you to an external area that's serving food and drink, easing the congestion and queuing in those North Stand concourses. And we know what that's all about. Now, I gather that they're probably doing this, and fair play to the club for this, because you'll see in the minutes with the Cherries supporters experience group that one of the issues was accessibility. And in the North Stand, I don't know who designed the stadium, right? It doesn't make sense to me. But when you go out from the ground, like underneath the tunnel, you've got the toilets for the men's and the ladies, like right there. But the toilet, the accessible toilet, is like next to the bar. So you've got to go through a whole crowd of people in order to get there. And for Lucy, who I go with, who sometimes take Andrew, it can be a nightmare. So fair play for letting the fans spill out and then easing congestion. So people like her can easily access those toilets. So it makes perfect sense to me. But also, it is so, like under those your concourses, Tigz, it's heaving, isn't it? It's heaving.
Yeah, it's a little bit squishy squashy, I will admit. And I do like to be able to pirouette during half time and spin around and stretch my arms out. So this is good news for me, certainly, that they're starting to think about this. I do remember not that long ago, showing me age again, that there was a time when people were able to do these things. But I think there was always concern about maybe passing a ticket to someone else or sneaking in. I don't think we live in that kind of world anymore, where people might be doing that. But nevertheless, really good move by the club. Good to see lots of clubs doing this as well. And whatever helps people and the picture that we don't really want to talk about either.
Yes, yes, of course. I know what you're alluding to there. So yeah, if you're in the North Stand, you can go outside today as well. There are a few caveats that the club have added, which I'll just go through now. There are a number of conditions that the club will need to meet in order to make this trial a success and be given the permission by the Safety Advisory Group to retain use of the area. That includes adhering to the instructions of stewards, i.e. when asked to drink up or move inside at the end of permitted time, please do it. Don't hang about. It makes the club's life easier. And if you want it to be permanent, then just adhere to the instructions. Please respect the neighbours. Look, we know where the stadium is positioned, very close to Thistlebarrow Road and also the adjacent new housing behind the East Stand. And also, please adhere to the strict no smoking / vaping regulation in place throughout the ground as well. Morgan, don't you think it's time to get people's predictions?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do this.
Right then, Morgan, you can go through them. And look, there are people coming in with them. I've got to scroll back on chat, but Morgan is going to go through them right now.
So Daniel in Florida saying 2-1. 3-0 from David. We got a 3-1 to AFC Bournemouth from Fat Richie. We got a 2-0 from Cameron. We got a 4-1 from Martin. Chris Hubble, 3-0. 1-1 says Rob Welsh. 3-1 says James.
Oh, Billy will score a blinder. Love it.
AFC Bournemouth 3, Huddersfield 0. I was going to say that for Tom Jordan because it's his 30th. He can have a goal every 10 years. So I'm going to go 3-0 today for Tom Jordan.
I like what you've done there. I love what you've done there.
And also, Heather saying the same. I'm sure that's for Tom as well. So 3-0. Carroll's going 3-0. So Tom's getting a lot of love here. Morning, chap. Great outside facilities at Bristol last week. He's going 3-0 again. Oh, this 3-0. Jamie also saying 3-0.
This is getting boring.
3-0. It's turning into the 3-0 show. 5-0 to the Cherries. Well, I'm sure if that happens, Tom will be getting on to 50 by then. 3-1 John on. And what else we got? Mr. Tigz. Oh, he's going 3-2. Oh, I haven't heard from Mr. Tigz today. Oh, he's there. Who else we got? 1-0 says Neil. 2-0 AFCBs. 1-0. Cherries will win 3-1. Yeah, I like that. That's not too bad either.
There we go. Those are the predictions that have come in, and look, they're all really confident. I mean, I think Rob Wells earlier on put a 1-1 Tigz, and I think he's possibly the only one that thinks Huddersfield have got something about them. But they will have something about them because you know what, last season's match against them, I don't think really does them justice. Certainly not on this season's form because they are a good side.
Yeah, 8 points in the last 4 games. So They're coming in full of confidence as well. So they will come at us. I think it will be an exciting game, certainly. I say that now. It'll be 0-0, won't it? But I think it'll be a cracker. And yeah, they should not be by any means underestimated. They're sixth on the table for a reason. But they're top for a reason. So,
do you think there's any? How do you? I don't know how managers think, like, because like psychology must come into things, and they have got like sports psychologists and stuff. But I just wonder, like, when does complacency start to come in? When your team are absolutely flying, you're looking at a side that they're in the playoffs, but they're probably top 10 fodder this season. How do you sort of motivate the players to not be complacent? How do you do that, or are they just professionals and should just always be switched on?
Do you know what I think Parker is doing a subtle but brilliant job of motivating the players by pointing out quite regularly, and this is a lot down to people like Jacob Tanswell who ask the questions. What about Leif Davis? Well, Leif's going to have to wait for his chance. And which puts the pressure on the players on the pitch. If people want to keep their places, they know they've got somebody snapping at their heels. They've got to play well. As an individual, you've got to play well. As a team, the spirit seems high as it can be. Obviously, when things don't go well, it's gonna take a hit, that morale. But at the same time, we have come from behind now this season, and we did a really good job of it. So. Yeah, I don't think that'll be an issue. There's always that kind of run of bad luck, isn't there, that we haven't really hit. That's the thing that I'm waiting to see, what happens when that happens.
Morgan, in some other news this week, it's been announced that a certain fixture that's probably huge, probably the biggest match so far, has been changed for TV. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so it's a little trip to the cottage on a Friday night. We remember when we last went there and won on a Friday night. But yeah, no, it's a 7:45 kickoff. It's live on Sky, and it's not on the red button. So if you want to go and get a brother before, you can actually watch the replay, so you don't have to worry about that. So yeah, I'm sure a lot of AFC Bournemouth fans will head down and make that trip up to London to watch the Fulham match, and hopefully it'll be another victory and 3 points on our agenda towards the period before Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. John Smithers chatted to you, apparently, Tigz, at the Luton game. Such a gentleman outside the South. You are a gentleman. You look like one. You are one, mate.
Oh, thank you, mate. Well, John was a lovely gentleman as well. We had a good chat. And please, if you see any of us around the game, please come and have a chat. You don't have to necessarily come on screen if you don't want to, but we do like chatting about football. It's what we do. So, yeah, please do that to any of us. And if you do want to come on, Sam, will you be about as usual?
Same as usual. I think are you on camera duties this week?
Yeah.
I'm happy for you to be asking the questions, mate. I mean, hold the camera. Maybe we can mix it up this week, or see how you feel.
See how I feel. See how the result goes.
Yeah, see how the result goes. And if you see me walking around with this little bad boy, I mean, it's so tiny, isn't it? The camera, that is. So if you want to come on the vlog, just let me know, because we're trying to mix it up and getting some different people on. But during the game as well, it's just I can enjoy the game and also just get some reaction as well. So that's what I really like about having this little bad boy. So it's fully charged, ready to go, and looking forward to hopefully seeing the lads get 3 points. But to get 3 points, we need the best chosen 11, don't we? So I feel as though that's what we need to do next. Let's do it. Predicted team time. There we go then. Predicted team time. And look, this week I've put our faces at the bottom. Ooh. Look at the different things we can do on this show now. Absolutely incredible. It's rocket science, the kind of graphics and jiggery pokery that we're doing today. Right. We'll involve people from chat as ever. We need to be off air by 10 because I need to get to Cherry's Cafe by 11. But Morgan, what we'll do is we'll go through, we'll get some people on chat as well to also put their positions, but for certain ones we will not ask. And I think the goalkeeping one is one that we don't really need to ask about, is it?
Nah, it's not going to be Nyland, is it? So put Chubbs in there for me, Sam, please.
Yeah, I will do. And also with regards to the right back, we know that Smith's not going to be available, so that's also a shoe-in, right?
Yeah, Jack Stacey all the way.
Okay, I mean, look, do I ask you about any of these four at the back here or not?
Nah, no. To be honest with you, it's going to be Jordan Zamora, Kelly, and Mr. Cahill.
Yeah, tell you what, Morgan. For those that haven't seen the vlog, it was so funny at Stoke outside the stadium because, like, you went up to Gary Cahill, and we were doing the interviews after the game, and then we noticed that players were starting to come out a bit early. So we thought, oh, you know what, like we'll hang about a bit, because you know what, I like hanging about sometimes and like seeing the players come through because I still, they're still my idols, and I don't like getting too close to the players and stuff. I haven't got any personal contacts or anything, but I like having that distance because then I can still hero worship like Fletch and Jeff and everyone on that, like that. And you did the same, Morgan. Gary Cahill came out. You went up to him, you took a selfie, but it wasn't quite good enough, was it?
No, it wasn't great at all. I did it in live, so a minute later I said, "Oh, I'm really sorry. Any chance I could have another photo?" And he went, "Is that okay?" And I came back over to where we were standing, waiting for the other player, and I did the same thing again. And then Tom was like, "You can't go a third time." So I think I got a restraining order. No, I'm only joking. But no, it was good to. I did get an excellent photo with Jordan Zamora and Gavin Kilkenny. Someone on Twitter said it looked like they were asking me for a photo with them. Well, maybe because of my height, maybe. But apart from that, no, it was definitely the other way around because I'm not famous. But yeah, no, it was a good experience, wasn't it? And just like you got a bit of footage around the team bus, and they were chatting for ages, weren't they? We had Gavin Kilkenny stood in front of us talking to some Irish guy, and yeah, it looked really good, didn't it, Sam?
Yeah, absolutely did. And we'll put some of that footage on a bit later on. Right, let's go on to the midfield then, because we're going to wrap this up by 10 o'clock. So, look, everyone in chat, put player 6, player 7 and player 8 in the same message if you can. For instance, 6 Kilkenny, 7 Marcondes, for instance, 8 Billing, whatever. And let us know what you think your 6, 7 and 8 are. But to Tigz, this is going to be an interesting one because look, Kilkenny rightly kept his place, and I thought he had a decent performance against Stoke. But then Ben Pearson is champing at the bit to come back. What would you be doing?
There's no reason to drop Kilkenny, in my opinion, unless it's a tactical one, unless we're having to match up more physically. But for me, I would personally give it to Kilkenny, personally. What about you, Sam? What would you do?
I honestly don't know. I'm just reading through these chats here. David, thank you for supporting the channel, by the way. Really appreciate it. Anyone that wants to support, we'll give you the details a bit later on. We've got a few calls for this lineup that Heather said as well. Kilkenny, Billing, and Lerma. Cameron has said it as well. I mean, Morgan, have you got any thoughts on it?
Lerma and Billing are no question. It's just the difference between if you want to do Pearson and Kilkenny. I think it would be a bit harsh on Gav if he was chopped. But yeah, it's a tricky one. It's either one way or another. What way? But it's a good problem to have him. To be fair, like the fact that we got players that we can even our bench is incredible. I think Kilkenny did just about enough on Tuesday night, but yeah,
really, it's really difficult. Some of these new comments are coming through. Philip going for Lerma, Pearson, and Billing. It seems to be a toss of the coin. So, Tigz, I'll let you decide what you would like for this one. It's not necessarily what you think will happen, but what would you like?
Oh, that's so hard.
Sorry.
Do you know what? No, it's okay. I mean, I'm looking at the comment there. John Sparks' comment is kind of my gut, because it started so well last time. But at the same time, I can't leave Lerma out on Tom's birthday. So I'm gonna go Kilkenny, Billing, Lerma.
Okay. Kilkenny, Billing, and Lerma. And I think when you do sort of need that grit that Ben Pearson brings, you have got Lerma to sort of, circumvent the fact that Gavin Kilkenny might be considered a bit lightweight, and he can always come back and do that job as well. So I think that's probably the right combination. So I'm presuming, based on that then, player 9 and 10, Morgan, and everyone in chat, any thoughts?
Jaden Anthony, no question, and Ryan Christie, number 10.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, this is all based on the fact that we think that there might not be any injuries. Obviously, we don't know. There could be, people pulling up in the warm-ups or, in training recently over the last couple of days. But I think you're probably right. And, you know, Jaden Anthony, I'd probably like to see him score a few more goals. But you know what? That combination with Phil Bill and Jay-Z, it's been fantastic to see, hasn't it, Tigz?
Yeah, there's such a beautiful understanding. It's almost like they read each other's minds, and little back hills, you know, cheeky little turns, and then play the ball on. I really, really like it. Yeah, I think Christie is doing the same kind of thing down the right as well. It's kind of that little triangle on either side is working beautifully. And obviously we've gone with Dom up top, and you can't not go with Dom up top, can you?
No. Okay, so
have you noticed how much? Sorry, Sam. Have you noticed how much Christie wins the ball back? He's always pumped up to try and get that ball and press him from the front. And Scott Parker alluded to it in his press conference. He's got a load of, I think it's 4 assists so far this season. He's incredible, and he's a really good addition to the AFC Bournemouth squad now.
So there we go. That's the team that we've gone for. But you know what? Who knows what it will turn out to be? Sorry. So did I get some predictions from you guys for today? Because I am going for a 3-0. I'm going for a 3-0. I think we'll, you know, I think it'll be a nice tonking. That's what I'm going for. Tigz?
Oh, that'd be nice. I went for a 3-2 earlier. I'm just trying to level it out a little bit. I don't think we'll lose. I hope that doesn't come back to haunt me. I hope Lowe gets on the pitch, because I feel a little bit bad that we left him out of our lineup.
Morgan?
3-0 for Tom. He can have a goal for every year of the generations that he's been alive. So, yeah, 3-0.
3-0.
And Lerma to get in the
stuff.
score sheet as well.
Lerma to get in the score sheet, on the score sheet. Brilliant stuff. Well, look, the referee today is John Brooks. He's officiated in 4 of our games this season, 3 at home, 1 away, at Dean Court against Queen's Park Rangers and Barnsley, and also away at Stoke as well. So what? Sorry, last season that was. I was about to say. Yeah, Dean Court. Yeah, and so against QPR, what happened last season? I'm just trying to think. Did we beat them? No, I think that was a draw. Barnsley, that was a loss. Brentford. We actually at home we lost that. Okay, this is not good. This is not good. This is not the referee that we want today. I thought they meant this season, but last season. So there we go. That's the referee for today. Those are your stats. Mark Masters going for 3-0 all over it. And you know what? If we could extend this points gap at the top, then we'd be happy. That's where we're sat at the moment. Huddersfield in 6th place. It looks like it's going to be a cracker. Tigzy, thanks very much for coming on.
That's all right, buddy. I really enjoyed it. I just, really fancy a coffee now.
Really fancy a coffee. And you know what? I suppose people could buy us one, couldn't they?
That would be amazing.
Yeah, why not? Via our Ko-fi page, you can do super chats on YouTube as well, but YouTube take a right old chunk of that. Back of the net mug, I've got one here somewhere for Martin and a couple of others that are coming to the game today, so I will endeavour to bring those. I think we've got a certain Mr. Tigz showing his mug there. Oh, you beautiful thing! Look at that; it does look beautiful, doesn't it? Lovely. And Ko-fi monthly donation, if you're a monthly member for Back of the Net, what that means is that your name will appear on the Legends wall at the end of the show, and also you will join our private WhatsApp style chat group. It's on an app called Telegram, which is basically exactly the same, and we post some exclusive content, some after the cameras have stopped rolling type stuff, and a lot more. So do that if you can and help support us. We'd really appreciate it. And also your feedback as well. We've got some really good feedback, and we're trying to take it on board as much as we can. And that is afcbpodcast.com/feedback. That's Tigz. That's Morgan. Morgan, thanks very much for coming on.
Thanks very much.
Really enjoyed it. And what stand are you in today then, Tigz? You're in the south, right?
I believe so. Yes, I am indeed.
And Morgan?
South as well.
South. All right. Well, do say hello to them. I'm going to be in the north. And if you want to come and have a chat after the show, we'll be in our usual spot just outside the 1910 bar. If you were to exit the bar, look to the left, there's a gap as you can go into the car park, and that's what we'll be standing on the other side of the fence, out of the way of the people that are getting past. And if you want to have a chat about the game you've just witnessed, then come along. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm off to Cherries Caff. See you soon. Have the cherries.